folks. I saw you people not that long ago. We'll call our meeting to order, and I will begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki and the district of Swabanagity, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. East Hants further acknowledges the 50 African Nova Scotian communities whose 400-year history have contributed to the province's culture, history, and legacies. We are all treaty people. This is, as you know, a continuation of our rather late meeting last night, and I believe that we had finished the correspondence for decision. We were through all the public hearings. We were through Parks, Rec, and Culture. So we would now be going to the Fire Advisory Committee report, and Councillor Perry is not yet with us.
He will be here tonight,
Oh,
so you're
okay.
Vice Chair.
Okay, Councillor Merriam, we will turn it over to you as soon as I find you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Warden, and good evening, everyone. The committee held its regular meeting on September 11th, 2025. The following motions are coming forward as a result of that meeting. Number one, financial guidelines for volunteer fire departments. Mr. Clarkson informed the committee that in July, Council approved changes to the municipality's procurement policy. The financial guidelines for volunteer fire departments were updated to align with the policy. The committee was asked to review this document and make a recommendation on the changes. A copy of the draft guidelines was attached to the agenda. The Fire Advisory Committee recommends that Council approve the revised financial guidelines for volunteer fire departments. As Vice Chair of the committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Kidd. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we will go to the vote. And we have a glitch in the system, folks. We will go to the vote shortly.
Through you, Madam Warden, just from a protocol perspective, you're recommending that you approve the guidelines. This will come back to you to give your 7 days notice down the road and then officially approve them. So you're just approving the committee's recommendation, but there is an additional step that will follow down the road, should you vote in favor of the recommendation.
Okay, folks, we'll have to sign in again if you haven't already. And while we're waiting on the system, I will acknowledge that we have had regrets from Councillor Perry. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Item 2, Brooklyn Fire Department registration. The Fire Advisory Committee recommends that Council approve the registration for the Brooklyn Volunteer Fire Department. As Vice Chair of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Dixon. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Discussion on whether or not departments should carry a minimum amount of insurance took place. The Fire Advisory Committee recommends that Council direct staff to prepare a report on minimum insurance limits for fire departments. As Vice Chair of the committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Mitchell. Is there any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Item 3, compensation to departments answering calls to municipal properties. Because municipal properties pay no tax, no levy money goes to the departments for providing fire protection to those properties. Some of these properties require responses with specialized equipment. Discussion was held around possible levy increases to account for this. The Fire Advisory Committee recommends that council direct staff to prepare a report on possible funding to those departments answering calls to municipal properties.
Seconded by Councillor Head. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And motion is passed unanimously.
Item 4, dry hydrants and cisterns. Discussion occurred around dry hydrants and the drought conditions this season. Dry hydrants are the responsibility of individual fire departments. It was suggested that cisterns may be a preferable and more reliable option. The Fire Advisory Committee recommends that council direct staff to investigate the implementation of cisterns as part of the 2026 planning review, and that locations and costs of doing so be up for discussion. As Vice Chair of the committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Councillor Mitchell.
Warden, thank you, Madam Warden. This was a item I had added to the agenda for fire advisory. I attended a fire in Grand Lake, and across from the Grand Lake Fire Hall, they had a cistern and it held 10,000 gallons. And due to the drought conditions we're having across the province, I thought it was a good idea to put it for discussion that as development progresses, that maybe cisterns could be added, which would hold water which wouldn't evaporate and be available when needed, not relying always on the dry hydrant, especially when the weather's not cooperating. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Councillor Rhino.
Madam Warden, this wouldn't be to the motion, but it would have a connection with the last one and this one. I wonder if I could have, after we deal with this, could ask the question.
Certainly. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
This concludes the report.
Thank you. I'll go back to Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I had an inquiry the other day. If we can remember back when we had a fire at the Georgefield transfer station, there was some talk with regard to fire ponds and things of that nature in and around that area. Could you brief me to did we decide anything on that, or where was that going with that? Because it was brought up to me within the last week, where we stood on, or where that went and where we stood on it, so.
Through you, Madam Warden, I don't believe that was a topic at the staff level that I recall. Looking at the Director of Operations, don't believe it's been on our radar. I'm not sure if you're referring to the fire in the organics a few years ago, if that's the one you're referring to. But yes, it isn't something that we're actively looking into or have looked into that we're aware of at this point.
Well, I remember the discussion around, having a fire pond close by, and we talked about, the lagoon down there and so on and so forth. There was mention of that, whether we could or could use it, so we did discuss it, and this is what precipitated this individual asking this question.
Yeah, through you, Madam Warden, Council may have discussed it. It's just not ringing recollection on my part. And I think you're referring to the lagoon, the Waste Management Center down on the site there. So I'm not sure the pieces behind that. It's not on our radar. So you know, if it's important to council, we could, to look at that, I guess, just thinking practically, our waste management center would be really to support the site, not necessarily the surrounding area, because the site is locked after hours and in the evenings and weekends. So I'm not sure if the question that was raised to you was about specifically operations of the site, or if it was for the surrounding fire service. And I guess I would look to those services to identify the need if it was for them, and to bring it forward through the channels that way.
It was for in connection with fighting fires at the landfill because of the number of fires that's been happening at the West Hants one. There's been several over the last few years. And also, that is a rural area, as we all well know, with a lot of woods and a few homes dotted in between. And the water sources are few and far between. And they brought this up to me, like I say, you know, I remember talking about it, and I don't remember, like you said, where it went to. It didn't go very far.
So through you, Madam Warden, thank you for bringing that. We'll make a note, and we'll take a look at it internally. If it's an opportunity for further discussion, we would come back to council.
Thank
Do
you.
we need a motion to do that, or?
Yes.
I would move that staff bring back a report on firefighting ponds or the equivalents for fire services in and around the waste transfer station
Do we have a second?
and surrounding area.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, sorry, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Warden.
Okay, next on the agenda is the nominating committee report. Now, let me see if I can find it here, and I'll turn the chair over to the deputy warden.
Okay, Warden?
Okay, the nominating committee met on September 16th, 2025 to consider applications to fill the East Hants municipal position on the Shubenacadie Canal Commission at the request of the commission. The nominating committee recommends to council that council appoint Evan Johnson to fill the East Hants municipal position on the Shubenacadie Canal Commission for a term of 2 years. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no one to speak, we'll go to the vote. And it's
Someone
passed.
hasn't voted.
Well, is that,
There,
I
okay.
can't see them all. Okay, and it's passed unanimously. Back to you, Warden.
Thank you. Next will be the Police Advisory Committee report, and Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Committee held its regular meeting on September the 16th, 2025 in council chambers. No motions came forward as a result of the meeting. RCMP quarterly report. The RCMP presented a quarterly report which included follow-ups to previous meetings, HR update, APP update, and a confidential public safety update. The committee did request some additional data from the RCMP during for the next meeting. I would think that this concludes my report.
Thank you. Next will be the Corporate and Residential Services Committee report. Councillor Garden Cole.
The committee held its regular meeting on September 16th and September 18th, 2025, and the following motions are coming forward as a result of that meeting. First item, municipal fee policy amendment, dog tag lifetime fee. Staff presented a report that outlined the importance of maintaining the current program, and with the suggested municipal fee policy amendment, would encourage residents to register their dogs with the municipality and alleviate the administrative aspect of registering dogs annually. The Corporate and Residential Services Committee recommends to Council that Council approve the municipal fee policy to include the addition of a lifetime dog registration fee as attached to the Executive Committee agenda dated September 16, 2025. As Chair of the Committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Musa. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Second item, 2025 to 2029 Strategic Plan Draft. The Chief Administrative Officer presented a draft of the 2025-29 Strategic Plan, Growing Stronger Together, and outlined the changes to many topics, detailing objectives and proposed initiatives, gathering feedback on any changes requested. The Corporate and Residential Services Committee recommends to Council that Council approve the 2025-29 Strategic Plan Growing Stronger Together as attached to the September 16, 2025 Executive Committee agenda. As Chair of the Committee, I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Motion is passed unanimously.
Third item, East Hants Public Transit Business Plan Financial Analysis Update. Staff presented a report outlining possible routes, operating models, and costs of potentially working to bring transit to East Hants. Staff also prepared and presented a complete financial analysis for Council to consider and to ensure that Council would be comfortable with the next step of engaging the public for public opinion. The Corporate and Residential Services Committee recommends to Council that Council provide direction to proceed with the public engagement for the proposed fixed route transit service. As Chair of the Committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Tingley. I would like to pass the mic or the chair to the Deputy Warden, just briefly if I could.
Yes, go ahead.
Just a comment that since this motion passed on committee day, I'm already hearing from folks who are extremely concerned about this. So I just want to share that, and I have shared with people who have asked me that the same opinion I shared on Tuesday, but in my opinion, I don't think we have the density, and that my feeling was that people in my area would not be supportive, but I have encouraged them to participate in the public consultation. But I just wanted to report that I'm already hearing about that.
Very good, thank you, Warden. And Councillor Rhino.
As much the same as the warden, I heard from several people this week, and first glances, it's not unusual. It doesn't appear to be popular. But I will support this motion because I think it's very important for us to engage the public, especially in the rural area, so staff and everyone is aware of how they do feel. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rhino. Okay, seeing no one else left to speak, we'll go to the vote. And it is passed with, is it unanimous? Okay, thank you. No, it was, I guess, 9-1 with Councillor Musa voting against.
This concludes the report.
Okay, back to you, Warden.
Okay, thank you. Next is the Infrastructure and Operations Committee report. Councillor Perry is not here this evening. Councillor Musa, we'll go to you.
Thank you, Madam Warden. The committee held its regular meeting on September 16, 2025, and the following motions are coming forward as a result of those meetings. A grid funding application, October 2025. Staff presented a report introducing the growth and renewal for infrastructure development, grid funding program, and acknowledged that the municipal project 04-017 road draining upgrades Tyler Street, Lacey Ann Avenue could qualify for potential funding of up to 50% and seeking endorsement from the committee. The Infrastructure and Operations Committee recommend that Council endorse the road draining upgrades Tyler Street, Lacey Ann Avenue Capital Project 24-017 as the municipality's priority project submission to the Provincial Growth and Renewal for Infrastructure Development Grid Funding Program, October 2025. As Chair of the Committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Merriam. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we will go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Item number 2, Paley Brook Flood Mitigation Study. Staff presented a report advising that the Paley Brook Flood Mitigation Study had been completed by CBCL. Staff went through the report and findings and addressed that this report will be made public for information and will be used a guide for future mitigation opportunities to explore. The Infrastructure and Operation Committee recommend that Council instruct staff to immediately share the CBCL report regarding Paley Brook Risk Mitigation Strategy dated April 2025 with the unnamed NSPW personnel mentioned in the staff's report, and also share the CBCL report with Fred Tilley, Minister of Public Work, John Lord, Minister of Municipal Affairs, Aminur Shah, Flood Management and Adaptation Lead, Province of Nova Scotia, Juliana Brown, Stormwater Engineer, Province of Nova Scotia, John McDonald, MLA East Hants, resident of Paley Brook Watershed Area, Cody Blois, MP East Hants, resident of Paley Brook Watershed Area, and that Council instructs staff to include with the above letter a request that the province identify a plan of action for the culverts identified in the CBCL of April 2025 to mitigate the risk of flood for residents residing in the Paley Brook watershed area per the Nova Scotia Mitigation Framework. As a committee, I so move. As a chair of the committee, I so move.
Second that.
Seconded by Councillor Dixon. Councillor Mitchell.
Yes, just
Try and hear.
Ellen here and John Lord. So let's, just so staff knows, that's all.
Councillor Tingley.
Just a brief comment. I made this motion in committee, and I mentioned where the MLA and MP live in this area. It's not necessary to put that in the letter that they live there. I just wanted the letter copy to them. That's all I want to say.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Madam Warden, this concludes the report.
Thank you. That brings us to the Planning Advisory Committee report. I'll go over to you, Councillor Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Warden. 9 items on the report, councillors. The committee held its regular meeting on September 16th and September 18th, 2025 in council chambers. The following motions are coming forward as a result of that meeting. Number 1, Land Secondary Planning Strategy proposed MPS and LUB amendments. Staff presented a report outlining the FBM, and Englobe have finalized the report, which was presented to committee, and several amendments were being recommended based on the report. The Planning Advisory Committee recommends that council authorize staff to schedule a public information meeting to consider amendments to the municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw relating to the land secondary planning strategy. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Tingley. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
The next 3 items were dealt with at the public hearing. Clayton Development Amendment to the Development Agreement, Subdivision Bylaw Amendment, Stormwater Management Final Report, Accessory Dwelling Units, C25 bracket 28, C24 bracket 414, and C25 bracket 159. Number 5, Serenity Lodge's second staff report. Staff presented their second staff report after being directed to explore options to separate a 2 PIDs through a development agreement. The report outlined that staff reviewed that the East Hants official community plan could have amendments adopted by council to allow this to take place. The Planning Advisory Committee recommends that council give first reading to the proposal to amend the MPS and LUB by adopting policies that will permit council to consider entering into a development agreement on land zone 2 dwelling unit residential R2 zone to permit institutional use IU zone used to be subdivided at an existing right-of-way easement in the growth management area, and give initial consideration to entering into a development agreement to permit PIDs 452-87638 to be subdivided on the existing right-of-way easement for the purpose of enabling a public hearing, and authorize staff to schedule a public hearing. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Second, Mayor.
Seconded by Councillor Dixon. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Number 6, RYC property, Havenwood Drive, second staff report. Staff presented an update report regarding changes to the land use designation application and detailing our retracement plan for the RYC property on Havenwood Drive, Shubenacadie. The Planning Advisory Committee recommend that council give first reading to the application from RYC Property Limited to amend the MPS and LUB by changing the land use designation of PID 450-97227 from for eastern portion to mid-density residential neighborhood MR designation, and rezone the same lands to townhouse R2T zone, and for the western portion to establish residential neighborhood R2 zone for the purpose of enabling a public hearing, and authorize staff to schedule a public hearing. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Moved and seconded. Councillor Musa.
Thank you, Madam Warden. So John, when we approve R2T, from R2 to R2T, we're adding homes. So what's the difference between that and adding land, like subdivided lots? It's like we're adding subdivided lots over the 100 lots without adding lots to it. So that's how I see it. You're gonna add so many units before you get to the other lots. So it's like you're adding lots for single unit dwelling. So I won't be supporting this more.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the vote has passed by a vote of 9-1, with Councillor Musa voting nay.
Number 7, motion C24-309, illuminated signs for staff report. Staff presented a report after being directed to review the currently banned on illuminated signs in the RU2 zone. Staff presented in their report the reasons behind the ban and compared how other jurisdictions handle similar regulations. The Planning Advisory Committee further recommends to council that council maintain the illuminated and digital signage regulations for the RU Rural Use North RU2 zone. As chair of the committee, I so move.
Seconded by Councillor Merriam. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I cannot support this. We talked about this in committee. It was pointed out that we already have a few illuminated signs out there, and it was explained that they would be grandfathered into it. There's one in Kennecook that that a business uses, and I often, just came to me, there's one in the Knoll area that a community group uses. So for those two to be grandfathered and the rest said, no, you can't use these internally lit signs, I don't think that is entirely fair to everyone. You know, we talked about different jurisdictions. I can tell you, there's a digital sign at the church in Old Barns, going through that way in a rural setting. Nobody that I'm aware of has ever complained about that I am aware of. And they like the information that's put on there. And, you know, by having some grandfather in others, that puts businesses and community groups against each other, and they're pitted against each other because some can and some can't. I do not think this is fair. I think that if we're concerned about lighting, we could make some parameters around hours that they would be lit. We could do something, but just to come out and say, no, we're not going to do anything for internally lit signs, the way it is just not fair. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Warden McPhee.
Thank you, Warden. Yes, oops.
Sorry.
Thank you, Warden. Yes, just as to Councillor Rhino's mentioning of the Old Barns lighted sign, I do know that, yes, there were some people that complained about that sign. The department decided not to do anything about it and allow it go to head because there are signage laws that we have, the department did enforce in the area, but they did allow that one to go ahead. But there were people that complained about it, just to fill out the record. Thank you.
Councillor Musa.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Jesse, those signs are similar to the one that we have for speed reduction and stuff? Like the speed sign, like your speed is 50 or something?
No, they're different.
They're different?
Staff 4.
Smaller, not as bright.
Through your Madam Chair, yes, different. Those are, I believe those are promo signs versus traffic oriented
Yeah,
signs.
but the idea is the same, like illuminate the sign with everything on it and stuff, or no?
I'm just not familiar with the advertising illuminated signs to say if it's similar lighting or not. Unfortunately, I don't have the background.
I was just worried if we approve this and then we cannot put those signs down there, so.
That's an interesting
That's why I
perspective.
asked, so. Could be something to look at.
John?
Thank you, Madam Warden. No, traffic control signage is not included in these regulations. That this is for advertising on private property as opposed to any sort of traffic control or the speed control signs.
Oops. Councillor Dixon?
Thank you, Madam Warden. Through you to the committee here. I'm going to have to agree with Councillor Rhino that I think we should be reconsidering this and looking at having everybody having an equal chance to advertise their business in the area. It's a rural area. It's good advertisement for them, so I am not going to support this motion.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion has passed by a vote of 6-4, with Councillor Dixon, Hebb, Musa, and Rhino voting nay.
Number 8, zoning confirmation letters report. Staff presented a report resulting from a council motion directing staff to explore the possibility of exempting and refunding the fee to obtain a municipal zoning confirmation letter for residents to register for short-term residential accommodations. The report outlined the recommendation to make no changes to the requirement based on staff time to complete the letters. The Planning Advisory Committee recommends to Council to make no changes to the current requirement for a zoning confirmation letter and the fees associated with obtaining a zoning confirmation letter. As Chair of the Committee, I so move.
Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Kingley. Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. On this one, I will not be supporting it neither. I think it would be an act of good faith to refund those money that was brought upon by the province in our area where tourism is a major benefactor down to the area. It's an employer. It's where we want everybody to come. And we want them to stay, and by staying in the bed and breakfasts or what have you, they spend money a little bit longer. So I think an act of good faith would be to refund that letter, and it would look good on council. Thank you.
Councillor Hebb.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Through you to staff, if I remember correctly, this will be a one-time fee, or do we have to apply every year?
Through you, Madam Warden, it was a one-time fee, and we had a big burst of them last year because the province brought in the new requirements, so everybody had to do it in that 1 year, but it's only one time.
Only one time. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Musa.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Speaking in favor of the motion, there's a lot of residents that pay fee for everything they get from the municipality. If you wanna sell your house and you need like a letter that your taxes are paid, you have to pay money. Like if we're gonna refund, we gotta refund everything. Like we cannot refund some people, and most of the majority of the residents are paying for everything they have to use as a service or for staff time. Like, I don't think it's fair to pick a few and leave the majority of the residents pay their full fee for anything they need from the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one left to speak, we will go to the vote. And the motion is passed by a vote of 9 in favor and 1 against, with Councillor Rhino voting nay.
Last item, draft survey response, agricultural planning. The Director of Planning and Development presented a draft response for a presidential survey regarding agricultural land use planning. The Planning Advisory Committee supported the response and directed the submission be made by September 19th, 2025 deadline. This concludes the report.
All right, thank you. Next, I'll turn the chair over to the Deputy Warden for the Warden's report.
Go ahead, Warden.
My report is going to be brief. I made it very brief thinking we would be doing it late last night. But anyway, we did not meet in August, but I did stay busy attending various things around the area in August. I did attend another 75th anniversary celebration for the library at the Elmsdale branch. As I said, assorted other community events. On September the 7th, I attended the Knoll Fire Auxiliary's 40th anniversary. And then on the 10th of September, I attended another 75th library celebration in Kennecook. September 11th, of course, was Fire Advisory. September 13th, I was happy to participate in the Explore Your Own Backyard event in Burncoat. And as always, 430 hot dogs this year, folks, and very well received by everyone there, both local and tourists. And I think it's a very good event. I attended preliminary training on our new conference system on the 16th. And just before I sign off, I would like to remind everyone of the online NSFM information session on September the 29th at 4 p.m. And you will, in your emails, there is a link to register for that and get the Zoom information. So at this time, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Warden, and back to you.
Thank you. We will now go to business from councillors, and because it's his birthday, I will start with Councillor Tingley this evening. I have to find him on here now. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. not going to report on anything. I just have a couple of brief motions that I want to make that are not going to require a lot of work. A resident approached me about diesel engine enhanced braking that happens on the Lance connector. When big trucks are coming down there, they put on their Jake brakes or whatever you call it, and creates a lot of noise. And I've had I'm aware of others are concerned about it as well. And the province actually has a section of the Motor Vehicle Act where they prohibit this type of braking in speed zones that are below 50 kilometers. This area on the connector, uphill, there's a speed zone of 50 kilometers, but coming down where trucks use their brakes, there's no speed zone. So I just want to find out if we can do anything to mitigate this type of braking and noise in the area. I'm not sure whether we can or not, so I'm going to move that staff write the province to review the potential need for truck braking regulations along the Lance Connector Road as it relates to noise disturbances, and to request the addition of speed signage in the southbound direction towards Highway 2.
Seconded by Councillor Head. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. The motion is passed unanimously.
The second item relates to the crosswalk at the roundabout, the Lance roundabout. The same resident that made this inquiry about the braking walks up and down the highway quite a bit, and told me about a situation where he was trying to get across the crosswalk and car didn't stop. He had to jump back, and he indicated that there is difficulty getting across that sidewalk. And I've had other residents in the area mention this to me over the last year as well. I'm not sure what other things we can do in addition to the existing crosswalk that is there. But I've talked to staff about this, and as a first step, I'd like to move that staff write the province requesting a review of options for additional crosswalk safety options, such as the use of rectangular rapid flashing beacons at the Lance roundabout.
Seconded by Councillor Merriam. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
The last item I have here is a couple of residents, and this is not a motion, a couple of residents made an inquiry with me about speed bumps on Poplar Drive. They state that there was discussion in council or about possibility of having speed bumps put on Poplar Drive or being put on some list to be considered. So my question is to staff, I guess, is this being considered for Poplar Drive first? Or I've got three questions. Is it being considered for Poplar Drive? Should it be considered? And what should my response be to these requests?
Through Madam Warden, the first two answers are no and yes, and I'll elaborate. So right now we're in the third year of staff doing a trial on speed hump implementation, focused mostly on within white estates. That's also we're also gonna add two on McMillan Drive here this fall. It's in a confined area, and using that as a benchmark to learn and what should our protocols be as a municipality, and build policy and programming around that. The plan is to build out policies from our learning this coming fiscal. I said no and yes for a reason. The answer is that we're not planning anything on Poplar Drive because Poplar Drive is a provincially owned road. And right now we're restricted as a municipality to implement traffic calming on our own owned roads. And so that's where our focus will be. And that's the challenging part about the current ownership layout of residential roads across the municipality is there's a lot of splits. There's roads that are partially provincially owned, partially municipal, and it creates disparity on programming, and we're trying to wrap our heads around that. It's a complex issue that we're trying to figure out what can be fair and true. Should there be? Absolutely. There's opportunity that could be reviewed in the future, or we can make recommendations to the province. The province, I don't believe, actively implements that. Their focus is mostly on highways, routes and trunks, and they don't have more advanced programming or are not looking to have advanced programming on residential style roads. That would trigger different types of discussions with the province. It's a tough, complex topic. Going back to the service exchange from the 90s that we just haven't figured out yet. So Poplar Drive's challenging. That the options that are in play potentially in the future are digital speed display signs. We can still implement temporary locations, and I think that's still in play for all residential roads, whether provincial or municipal. That is a tool in the toolkit that we can use, but it's not all the time. And we don't have permission on residential roads with the province yet to install anything permanent. So we've got to get our trials in first, which we've been slow to implement, but we're trying to. But it's a slow progress, but the goal is to do it right. Staff did benchmark, sorry, this is turning into a bit of a report, but I want to have a good answer for you. Staff have been benchmarking programming from other municipalities. We've been focused very much on the city of Moncton. Most recently, staff attended a presentation they put on a couple earlier in the summer, and I attended a Canada-wide discussion on traffic calming just last week, and Moncton talked about what they were doing in that forum as well, and we're looking to find aspects for East Hants that would work from that, knowing that we're a smaller unit, but trying to find out what is working and then see what we can do to right size in the future. We're about a year out to be able to really go public and say this is what we can offer ongoing. And that's...
Okay, Chair, I'm more than satisfied with that. That's enough information to respond. That's it.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I just have one motion I want to make, but I want to talk about it first. Like, I was approached by a resident who bought a piece of land in Mount Uniacke. It's 6 acres, and he have 187 feet of frontage, and he want to subdivide it in two. And he came to me and I told him, like, we have a variance, like 10% variance on one lot or two lots, whatever. So he called Kelly from my store while we were talking. And he was told that this variance is only on municipal, on public road, is not on private road or right of ways. So my question to John, like, what is the reason, like, to exclude the right of ways or private road from the variance? Like, my feeling is it's safer to travel on a private road than on public road. So if you have less frontage, it should be an advantage to be on a private road, not a disadvantage, unless there's some other reason I don't know about. So
I'm not sure, Madam Warden, I understand the question. So the issue is they don't have enough frontage to create a subdivision
on a
public road.
On a private road, like they're on a private road. So he was told if you were on Westlake, it's on extension of Westlake, which is, I think, private road, but he was told that if you were on public road like provincial or municipal road, we have variance on 1 or 2 lots, I don't remember, but you have 10%, so he'll be okay if he was on a public road, but on a private road, he was told he cannot do it. And I want to put motion in that staff include this item with the planning review, so.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I'm not quite sure I understand what the regulatory problem is, but we'll certainly look at it and dig into it if there's a motion passed.
Okay.
So do we have a seconder for Councillor Moosa's motion? Do we add this issue to the plan review?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councillor Tingley. Any discussion on the motion? Councillor Merriam.
Could we rephrase, just to rephrase again, the motion on hand? Just so I have a better understanding of what the motion is, please. Thank you. That's it.
Staff, do you have that, or do we need Councillor Moosa to? Okay, Councillor Moosa.
I move that staff add to the planning review the possibility of adding the variance to the private laneway and private roads to be able to subdivide with less frontage, like with 10% variance.
Similar to the public.
So just to be clear, this is an item that would be added to the plan review for discussion and decision at that time. It was seconded by Councillor Tingley. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Motion is passed unanimously. Anything further, Councillor Moosa? Okay. Councillor Merriam.
Thank you, Madam Warden. And bringing forward a quick report from District 6 tonight. Just wanted to thank staff again for always being very responsive on different questions and initiatives and all of that interim stuff that comes up, so it's definitely appreciated. Things like, it could be recently questions about ongoing sidewalk maintenance questions in Lance and Milford, that kind of thing, so that's something staff is helping provide some information on. One question that came up recently, and I just didn't know the answer, and I thought I would ask staff this, about road work in general in residential areas. So in this case recently, where you would see a men's working sign kind of thing, heavy trucks, in this case blocking some driveways for a period of time, and such that residents were delayed in getting to work. So, it's a bit of an issue. And I guess my question, the question posed to me, and I'll ask it now, is, I'm assuming we have perhaps some rules around if there are, in that kind of a scenario, maybe a driveway's blocked and, someone might have to postpone or cancel a meeting because of that. The question was, is there a required written notice to residents when that kind of a situation happens? I just didn't have any idea.
Go ahead, Jess.
Through Madam Warden, East Hants doesn't follow a specific policy on that as of right now, and it can be confusing. We have best practice of, I should say that, clarify, it can be confusing as to what entity is causing the delay and the work, and we have different entities that do work on roads across East Hants. Sometimes it's municipal road work, sometimes it's water utility work causing the delays, sometimes it's provincial roads, and they would follow different protocols. So I can tell you what happens from a water utility or wastewater utility stance is our operators, if it's isolated, will knock on doors or post letters. Letter drops are standard practice when we're doing a capital project, like that's happening on Green Road right now in Lance. Letter drops are the normal. We would go door to door to an area, notify people what type of construction's happening, the general, how long it's gonna be. For unpredictable things like a break or an emergency, those door knocking is typically the norm, but if it's not a municipal project, like a provincial roadwork project, that's outside of our control, as the approvals and the protocols come from the province, and so there can be different approaches. And I couldn't talk to what the province chooses to do. They do post things online. They do, but I don't know if they do the same door to door or letter drop that municipal staff have. That's practice that I explained, but we don't have a policy on it. We don't have a written practice. It's an opportunity
Interesting.
To better define it.
Okay, give that some more thought and maybe we'll circle back, but that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Deputy Warden McPhee.
Thank you, Warden. Yes, just have a few items. The first one is certainly a disturbing one, and I had a letter from a resident of District 4. Her and her family attend services at one of the synagogues in Halifax, who were desecrated over not last weekend, I guess the weekend before, wasn't it? And anyway, she just wanted to just ask me my opinion on it and hope that such actions would never occur in our municipality, and take a stand. So I certainly support her. I don't hope this was just the individual that was caught, well identified, and I certainly hope that this isn't an action of an organized group. We don't need any hate groups in our local community, so I just wanted to mention that. I do have a question for the Director of I&O, through you, Warden, to Jesse. Just about the speed sign that would display the speeds coming into Shubenacadie from Mill Village Road eastbound. I know we talked about that a few meetings ago. Just wondering if there was any action on that or any time that we might see that.
Through Madam Warden, I'll talk to, I don't have an update for that specific location. I can look into it, but I'll talk to it in general. It's come up a few times, as we have had delays in getting them up and going. Where we're at is, we've had to get our units recalibrated. The province has, part of their protocol they were asked that anything going up on a provincial road be calibrated by the province, and so they took them to their shop, calibrated the units. We had to get updated software, and we are waiting on the software company providing training for our staff on the updated software. It's a requirement to use it, and then we're going to start deploying this fall on some of the locations, not all of them, but that should be playing out in the weeks ahead to start getting some of those units up. But that's where I know as of last week, when the team told me about the updated piece of requiring training on top of the software upgrade.
Right. Well, that's great. That gives me, the concerned citizens, at least some information on why they haven't gone up, and a little bit of a timeline, and I hope that is one of the early ones to get deployed. Thank you. I also want to address, we in July lost a member of our community, Matt Snavich, to an assault, still unsolved far as I know. I know the RCMP, we're looking into it, investigating it, and Matt was a much beloved member of our community. Many of you probably saw him hitchhiking with his guitar. over the years. He busked in front of the dollar down at the dollar store in Elmsdale and other areas of the community, and he also performed private functions. And I just hope that we get some information soon on what happened. Excuse me just a minute. Thank you. And also, today I had some discussion with members of District 4 about the cenotaph, of course, not surprising. And no anger, no one angry with us, but I would put it down as a sense of dismay that we listened to one group and didn't consult with the community. They didn't think that we would do this. There was no organized group, no one organizing to give the other side. So they were wondering what could be done to at least stop, not to change the motion or anything, but take some time so that we do consult with the community, because after all, as they realized, we've said that was a mistake was made. We haven't consulted with the community. Listening to one side is not consultation. So I would like to see action deferred on moving the cenotaph for a bit till we have time to come up with, consult with staff, determine how we could consult with the community. So I move that we direct staff to defer action on relocation of the cenotaph until we have time to consult with the wider community.
Do we have a seconder? This is not a motion to reconsider. This is a motion, I'm sure all councillors have seen the email that we got today regarding consultation with Shubenacadie and Sabaganagady. And my understanding is Deputy Warden McPhee is just asking if we could not physically move the monument until we have a chance to do the public consultation as the lady who sent the letter has asked. Is that?
Yes, that's
got it
correct.
right? Okay. So now I'm just asking if there's a seconder for that.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Mitchell. Okay. Councillor Rhino.
Well, I cannot support the motion. As I stated last night, you know, one councillor was talking about sides. There's never been a side, as I stated last night, had we saw that word if that confusion around that letter from the Legion had been there, this would not have been taking place. And if something happens and we defer this, you know, this is gonna muddy the waters even more. Furthermore, we are just putting it back to where it was, to where it probably shouldn't have been moved in the first place to work. And if we do this, you know, we're just asking again for the community to I don't know. I don't know what word I could use, but it would be just a wrong thing to do at this time after the motion that went through last night. Thank you.
Councillor Tingley.
Through the chair, I totally agree with Councillor Rhino. Because we have one email, I just don't think we could bring this to a halt. We made a vote last night, and we even talked about trying to have it moved before this November the 11th. I'm just tired of dragging ourselves through the mud and these other people. If there's another group out there, I haven't heard from them. Yeah, I know we're going to get complaints about moving it and incurring the costs. And I feel bad for both sides, like, people attacking Councillor McPhee or Deputy Warden McPhee. I'm a little ticked off with the whole thing myself, but I think we made a decision, and it's not that I want to stick to my guns. One email just can't change it. So I'm totally on side with Councillor Rhino.
Councillor Garden Cole.
Thank you, Warden. In addition to what my fellow councillors have said, this has been going on since May when we moved it. That's many months ago. We have received lots of, concerns from residents. Any resident who felt like sending in a concern did, and if they didn't, there were months to do it. Councillors took all the information and made a decision last night on what they felt was the best thing to do. And by, the next day deferring the decision, I just think that's setting a precedent for any decisions that council makes. I felt like we made an informed decision on the information that we had and the actions that we did or didn't take at the time, and I will be maintaining I'll be maintaining how I feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you. You take the chair, Deputy, just one brief comment.
Okay, yes.
My only concern is that what got us into this situation in the first place was that we didn't consult. And we now have a letter, which I'm looking at the highlighted information here, that tells us there's a petition coming. And that other parts of the community have now realized that this is happening and they're not happy with it. I will certainly abide by whatever decision council makes, but I just want to make sure that councillors understand that we have been told that there is a petition coming. And I do think they plan perhaps to organize. I don't know. That's all. I just wanted to make sure that all councillors had read down the whole email and understood that although this is a letter originating from one person, it does indicate that there are more. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Councillor Tingley.
Through the chair, just again in Deputy Warden's, speaking about Deputy Warden, I don't think he did anything wrong here, and I want to publicly state that. He definitely got in a dispute with this group of people, but the talk about moving this cenotaph just to make a parking lot, that's not what happened in my mind. And Deputy Warden he seemed happy to not have it moved the first time we received a report on it. And this got nasty, and I don't blame the people that were upset. They have good reason for feeling the way they do. But even, like, it come back to us that the Legion wanted to move to their property. Now the Legion is not, they don't even want it on their property by the sounds of things. This will just rip the community apart if we do any more consulting than we've done. I think there was plenty time to consult, and I think all the consulting that needs to be done was done. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Moose, just a second here. There you are.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. I agree with my fellow councillors, and I want to add to it, like, if every public hearing we get a letter after that next day from somebody and telling us that petition is coming against this, what we're going to do? Like, we're going to need like 10 meeting a week, a month. Like, that's not how we always perform, and I don't like changing things around. Like, that could open a lot of stuff. Like, I don't understand what we're dealing with. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hebb.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. I did get calls, I did get emails, and I had people visit me who wanted it left where it was. And I said at the very first meeting that there were people out there who were happy where it was, but they did not want to come forward. And I'm not going to mention the reasons why, because they're all different. But the fact is, I think a lot of them thought that it was probably going to stay where it is. And now that they found out that it's not, they're the ones that's gathering together now to come up with a meeting, and I think it's only fair to give them a shot at it. I know we've made the motion to put it back, but it's, all I can say, it's like closing the barn door after the horse gets out. But the fact is, there are people out there who are happy where it was, and they realize now that they should have stepped up, and it's too late. But I still think we should at least have a chance to do some consulting in the community. That's what they wanted to begin with. So he's just gonna hold it up for long. It may be back and it may not go back, but I think we should give them a chance to see in the next couple of weeks what's gonna take place anyway. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Oops. Councillor Royal.
I do believe that this has been going on since we moved this and everything started. Everybody had and everybody's seen where it's at. Yeah, everybody had an opportunity. There was a group that were upset, that rallied and did whatever, protested. That same group who thought it was in a good place could have done the same thing at the same time. I agree with Councillor Musa. What are we going to do if everybody's not in favor of something the next night? Then we'll turn around and defer it, and then we'll cause us to have more and drag this out. We made a decision to right it wrong, to put it back where it was. To me, that's the only option we should have had. Those 5 options were out there. Everybody had an opportunity to write in or whatever it is, and it was very clear to me that the majority, big majority of the people wanted that moved back. So that's what it was, and I'm going to stay with that. Thank you.
Councillor Musa.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Warden. I think everybody here, we should learn from the last meeting, like the last public hearing we had. People cannot say, I don't want to go to a public hearing because I'm bullied. Nobody, I don't believe
Point
that
of order,
somebody.
there was no public hearing on this matter.
What?
There was no public hearing on this matter.
I meant the. Oh, okay, so there was, okay, my bad, sorry. It's a lot of people here, I thought it was public.
Thank you, Councillor. Oops. Okay, Councillor Tingley.
Through the chair, can I make a motion relating to the cenotaph?
There's a motion on the floor.
Okay.
You'd be able to make one afterwards.
Okay.
If you wish. And I know we're can I speak again even though I've taken the chair?
Give me the chair back, I guess. I don't know
Okay.
the proper protocols, but.
Okay, yes, I'll give you the chair back.
Okay, go
Warden.
ahead.
I would just like to say, as Councillor Musa, we've heard other people here just say public, it was a presentation that was made. There was no public consultation. There was no public hearing on this. We bent the rules for that group. They shouldn't have been able to speak to us until last night. We bent the rules. We went in the executive meeting and said they can present to us in July. If we'd have followed the rules, we would have been in the July regular meeting deciding whether or not we would hear their presentation, which would have happened last night. So we've already bent the rules. And yes, the people that were for keeping it there, yes, they had time to form a group from that, but they didn't, because they are basically, as many people said to me, surely council wouldn't do this, would they? They wouldn't move it back. I kept warning them that, well, it might happen. Now it has happened. I'm not asking for a change. I'm just asking for some time. And if you're worried about the community breaking apart, it's happening. It's happening now. I'm already hearing about it today. And that's what I'm trying to do. Stop a schism from happening. We had one very adamant, I will say, angry group present to us, overwhelm us, and they also intimidated, as Councillor Hebb, I had many people say, I'd like to write a letter in, but I don't want to get on the wrong side of that group. And when you start allowing mob rule to make your decisions for you, that's not consultation, and that's not democratic. All I'm asking for is let's defer. There's lots of time to move that monument. Let's find out a way to consult and tamp this down. I'm tired of this. Believe me, I am tired of this issue, but I don't want to cause a schism in the community any more than we have, because it's going to take a while for it to heal right now. That's all I'm asking. I live there. Everybody seems to know, have an opinion, and I understand that. But I just ask you to show some compassion and let these people now that realize the problem, what's happening, please let them have a voice. We've bent the rules for the other group. Let's have a public hearing, a consultation somehow, and let's try to keep this from inflamed anymore. I'm not trying to inflame it. The last thing I want to do. I want to try to put this to rest. Whether it moves back or stays where it is, I'm fine with either one. That's what happens. We have a vote. We are a democratic council, but we are the most grassroots level of government. We can consult with our people, each of us as councillors, and that's all I'm asking. Let's step back, take a breather, see what this group can form or people will send in. And in the last few days before the vote, there were quite a few emails come in. I think a couple came in that never got posted, and that's not a reflection on staff. They just came late yesterday. And please, 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 just do something for the community that'll stop it from tearing itself apart. Because I really don't, I heard some things that people were saying. I don't think, there's not going to be violence, but we could just trigger some actions that council will regret, that we didn't take time to allow this group or these people to have a chance to consult with us. That's all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Garden Cole.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Well, talk about bending the rules. That was the municipality, staff, and council when they didn't follow the protocol of going out to public with this. We go out to the public about all kinds of things routinely. We neglected to do this for whatever reason, and this is what has happened because of it. There has been months for people to reach out to us, which they have, for us to make a decision. And to set this precedent of going back on what we just voted on last night and talk about ripping the community apart. Imagine how would this ever come together, that we would have public meetings and then it would be pitting all the people who were too intimidated to speak up and say how they feel, then those sides would be pitted against each other. I think that we would be wantonly opening the door for this to be really tearing the community apart. It has been months. The information was out there. Everybody was allowed to reach out to us in any way that they felt comfortable, confidentially if they wanted to, and the information was presented, and we voted accordingly. And I think that it would be a grave mistake for us to go back on that. And that is my feeling on it. Thank you.
Councillor Musa.
Madam Warden, I just want to say that I was not intimidated by anybody. I read those emails one by one and took some lessons from every email, like that we were wrong doing it. It's not intimidation. Every email, like some email, they have some nasty stuff in them, but people were angry, and as a councillor, I understand if when people are angry, they say stuff probably they will regret the next day, or they will never regret. But my job is to read and see the merits of every email, and that's how I made my decision. I wasn't intimidated by anybody. I wasn't against anybody. I wasn't taking any side, but we didn't see the emails from the 1-4 till the last day, and probably some of us missed them, some of them didn't, but we have since May to get the thing done, and we finally have it done. So that's how I feel. I wasn't intimidated by anybody. We should be professional here, and we should understand people angry, and they say stuff, but we cannot say stuff back to them. We can absorb whatever they say. Thank you.
Folks, the motion on the floor is not to change the decision. The motion on the floor is to not immediately move the monument back, but to give it a little bit of time for these folks to bring their opinions forward. Just want to clarify that. So, Deputy Warden.
Yes, I'd just like to say, I wasn't saying that the group intimidated any of the councillors. I'm saying that members of the community felt intimidated by them, didn't want to take them on, and that's, now they realize their error of their ways, and I know they had time, but it's just been poorly handled all the way, and I don't think that just stopping the movement of the monument for a week or two, whatever, until people can come to us with some, just present to us or whatever. I don't think that's going to tear the community apart. If they have their chance to speak to us, air their concerns, feel that they've been heard, that may stop any more. But right now, there are schisms happening within the community. I've already heard of them today. That's the difference of being there and not being there, I guess. So I just can't see why we can't just, the monument doesn't need to be moved tomorrow. It can be moved a couple of weeks later. If nothing changes, that's it. Council has spoken. Why can't we just wait that little while? Thank you.
Councillor Tingley?
Just like this, everything I think that can be said has been said, but I'd just like to restate, I think this motion is even incorrect. We're saying that.
Councillor, I have ruled it in order. It is not a motion it is not a motion to reconsider. The part of the original motion did not state the timeline for moving the monument. So therefore, that was discussed after the motion with no motion. So I thought about this. And this is simply a motion on the timeline of moving the monument, which was not set in a motion last night.
But the purpose is to reconsider. It's not.
No, the purpose is to do the public consultation. That's what the motion says.
Well,
That's
to do
all the
consultation
motion
is reconsider.
No,
That's you've ruled on it, but that's my position.
the deputy warden's motion
I
is to
understand.
defer the moving of the monument until the group of concerned citizens have an opportunity to be heard.
In other words, we're reconsidering. You
No.
can say it any way you want it, but you're reconsidering.
Councillor, you're out of order.
Okay.
Councillor Musa.
Well, Madam Warden, like the motion that we approved yesterday is to move the monument before the Remembrance Day.
No, it is not.
As, if possible, to remove it
That was, unfortunately, I went back to that, but the motion did not include that. After the motion passed, it was suggested by Councillor Rhino that we should do that as soon as possible and before Remembrance Day. I expected some discussion on this, so I kind of checked it back out. The motion did not include to have it moved before Remembrance Day. That was discussion following the motion. Had the motion included moving it before Remembrance Day, then I'm trying to stay between the lines here and not be accused by anybody of not doing something correctly.
Okay, so can I continue?
Go ahead.
The deputy warden just said, give them time tomorrow. Like tomorrow, we're not gonna be able to meet them before. If we agree on that, if that motion passed, it's gonna be the next committee meeting. And after that, are we gonna make a decision on the fly if we're gonna stop everything or no? And I don't understand. He said couple weeks. I don't think that could be done in couple weeks. Like everything is leading to something that it's impossible. When you say couple weeks, how are you gonna do it in couple weeks? Like how are you gonna accept a presentation that you cannot meet before the next committee meeting? Then I don't understand how 2 weeks is gonna be. It's gonna be enough to do it. So I wouldn't be supporting that motion at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. One of the on those options that were presented by the CAO, one of them was to consult. That had consultation in it. The motion that was made last night, there was no reference to consultation. The motion last night was to put the cenotaph back in the thing. Now we have a motion to put this off until we have heard from some more people. Isn't that consultation? And consultation was not in the motion. So Councillor Tingley may be right. That motion shouldn't be in
No, sir,
order.
there was no inclusion. I know I voted the other way, but I'm trying to do this the way that I see the rules working. And in the motion that was made last night, it did not state that there would be no consultation. It did not state that there would be consultation. So with the letter that came in today, I feel the deputy warden is within his rights to ask council if we would hold off on moving that monument. Council may vote and say, no, we won't, and that's fine. But he got a letter indicating a petition was coming from his community and that a larger group in his community might be involved. And I do believe that he just felt that obligated to bring that forward after having received the correspondence as any of us would. So had he brought forward a motion to not move it back, I would have disallowed it. Because that would be a motion of reconsideration, which would have to be brought by someone who had moved in favor of the motion. That's my understanding and my interpretation of the rules. So there you have it. Councillor Garden Cole.
So, from what I'm understanding, this is opening the door that anytime we vote for or against something, and one of us isn't content with it, or a resident isn't content with it, then we are opening the door to us bringing it back to have it deferred or have it paused while we consult more people about it. I mean,
I think
the possibilities are endless.
Each situation would be individual. I truly don't believe that that's the intent here, but by the same measure, we passed a motion and we actually did the deed, and then we reopened the door after that was done when people complained about it. So I think, it's completely up to council whether or not we continue as we said last night, or whether we agree to give the community some more time.
Okay. Well, I
Like
guess,
Deputy Warden McPhee, I'm really anxious to have this behind us and have it dealt with.
and as the residents are, I'm sure, but okay, I guess we'll go to the vote and see what happens.
One last thing, and then we'll go to the vote.
Thank you, Warden. Yes, Councillor Garden Cole said that we continue consultation. You can't continue something that you never did. We didn't consult. We had a presentation. That's not consultation. Thank you.
Councillor Garden Cole.
I just find the fact that we keep coming back to the part where we didn't consult kind of ironic, considering that the reason we are here in the first place is because we didn't consult.
Okay, I have no one left to speak, so let us go to the vote. Go ahead, Councillor.
Can you please read the motion?
Staff have it, or do you want the deputy warden to restate it?
That's for Deputy Warden.
Okay, deputy warden.
I would like to move that we defer action on moving the cenotaph until we have a chance to consult with the community.
Okay, now we'll go to the vote. And the motion has failed by a vote of 6-4. With Councillor Dixon, the Deputy Warden, myself, and Councillor Mitchell voting in favor, Councillor Merriam, Heb, Musa, Rhino, Garden, Cole, and Tingley voting against. Okay, anything else, Deputy Warden?
No, that's everything, thank you.
Councillor Tingley, we're going around on business from councillors, anything?
I just want to make a motion relating to the set
I don't know if we want to open that, okay, let's hear it.
Well, we didn't discuss how this was going to be funded. So I want to make a motion that it be funded from the general tax rate contingency reserve.
Okay, we have a mover and a seconder. I did have, Adam had done some research, and I had indicated that I would wait and see if it came up in the discussion, and if it didn't, I would circle back to him on that before we left tonight. Is it okay? The motion is on the floor. Can we hear from Adam about options before we vote on it? Is that okay?
Absolutely, yeah.
Through you, Madam Warden, the option I was going to suggest to council is very similar to what the motion on the floor is. I think what we're suggesting is that it would be included in your year-end memo. If there was a surplus, it would be funded through the surplus, and if it wasn't, then it would be funded through the general tax rate contingency reserve. So very similar, with the caveat that we were suggesting it would go through the year-end memo process. And if not, it'd be recommended in the year-end memo through contingency reserve. So that's what I was going to communicate, but there is a motion on the floor.
Okay, so I'll just ask the mover, having heard from Adam, do you just want your motion to stand, or?
Could I add if there's a year-end surplus, utilize those funds? If not, the general tax rate contingency reserve?
Does the seconder agree with that? Yes. Okay, so we'll call that a friendly amendment. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Someone has not voted. And the motion is passed by a vote of 9-1, with Deputy Warden McPhee voting nay. All right, anything else, Deputy Warden?
No, that's it for me, thanks.
Okay, over to you, Councillor Heb.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I attended a lot of social events. I'm not going to list them all, time restraint here, but I did, July 26th, they issued an 80-year birthday certificate to Gene Bond of Upper 9 Mile River. And on August 10th, I delivered an 80th birthday to Wilford Webb from East Gore, and I'm sorry to say that just a month after I gave him the certificate, he passed away. And explore your backyard at Burncoat, and I'll tell you, it's amazing what our staff has done out there, and it was a successful day, and they put in a lot of hard work, and it's a bright spot for this municipality because the number of people is there today, and that's every day too. So I think it's kudos to our staff. So thank you, Madam Warden.
Thank you. Councillor Dixon.
Okay, thank you, Madam Warden. I guess everybody, I also attended the barbecue at Burnt Coat, and I thought it was exceptionally well run, and amazing how many people from local Nova Scotia and how many people from the U.S. attended and enjoyed everything, which
And
was
how
great.
good the hot dogs
Oh,
were.
the hot dogs were
Councillor-
excellent.
Councillor Rhino and myself barbecued.
Chefs, I admit it, they're chefs.
I think you dropped one.
I dropped
My
3.
report. One thing I'd like to bring up is motion. We have organizations coming for changes in things, whether it's Cenotaph or maybe it's the fire department looking for funding. Is maybe we should create a policy or look into what we have. Is when an organization comes for funding or assist or something like that, that we should have a motion from their organization that's been approved by their organization before we discuss it or go into contact? Do you understand what I'm getting at here? So the fire department wants funds, the chief could come and ask for money, does not necessarily have to have the fire department support. But he should come, I think he should come with a motion that's been approved by their department, whether it's funding or support, something like that, or any other volunteer organization in that system.
The issue with that would be in an emergency situation for an emergency
There's always
grant.
an exception.
Um,
But in general use, I think I've talked to the acting CAO that maybe could look at that over the next period of time and come back with some recommendations.
So would you be looking for a report around a policy around what would be required if nonprofits or community groups requested to speak to council?
Right, to council or for funding, if they're volunteers, I'm looking for that, the organization supports it, not just the person representing it.
Okay.
I mean, a chief could walk in here today and ask for a tax increase for 4 cents, we support it, thus the organization behind them support it. Just a precautionary measurement.
So
I'm just gonna throw
Are
that-
you making a motion to have that,
I don't think the staff could look into it eventually, we would be able to, come back with some ideas, but you want a motion. The boss says, I'll make another motion.
so the motion is for staff to explore requirements for groups requesting funding or requesting to speak to council, or both?
Both.
Does that do it for you?
Yep.
Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Seconded by Councillor Gordon Cole. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing, Councillor Rhino.
Thank you, Madam Warden. I do understand, the concept around it. However, I have concerns with erosion of trust with the groups that are out there. Now they've got to show the motion. To me, is that going to erode the trust within the people there that, oh, you don't believe me, you do that. If there is a problem, that should be identified and dealt with. To me, I just don't want to erode trust with the groups that we have out there. Thank you.
I think the motion is just to have staff look into whether or not there would be something like that done. And I think that report would take a lot into consideration, because not all groups that wish to speak to council are organized groups that would have motions.
Yep.
So I think it would be a discussion for future. It's just on staff's radar to have a look at it.
I hope staff can take my concern under consideration.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
And the last thing is, just like to say thank you to our staff for putting in the extra hours with us over the last couple of months. I think we appreciate your extra time. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Mitchell.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Just a few items since we met last. I attended the Elmsall Library celebration on August the 7th and had a chance to talk with some of the patrons and an enjoyable time. On August the 13th, I attended the Halifax County exhibition, and the municipality had made a donation, and they had 5 trophies, and I'll just quickly go over which ones categories were. Top floral culture, top garden member, top heritage member, senior photography, and the senior vet science. And I had the opportunity to present 4 of the 5 since I was there. The Equity and Community Wellbeing Committee met on September the 11th and had a good discussion. There will be a session at NSFM put on by the EDIA and BIG, which is the Basic Income Guarantee, and EDIA's is for Equity, Diversion, Inclusion, and Accessibility for those that are attending. I enjoyed the Explore Your Backyard in Burncoat and meeting a lot of the people that attended, especially the ones from the US of A and Norway and Sweden, Switzerland. The East Hants Arena Association met on the 15th, and as I sit here today, I'm assuming that has been dissolved since there's nothing else came forward. And on Tuesday of this week, the library board met in Truro, and looking forward to the gala on October the 18th. And just from personal note, I thank council for their contribution to that event. And that's all, Madam Chair. Madam Warden, thank you.
Councillor Garden Cole.
Thank you, Madam Warden. First, I'd like to say that CCOA is hoping that hopefully by the next meeting, I will be able to say that CCOA is in their new building and that council will all get an opportunity to come and have a look at it. And so that's an update from CCOA. Most of my issues with for my residents in District 1 are traffic related, few property drainage issues and whatnot. One of the main concerns is near the school where Catherine Street meets White Road. So that would be a municipal side street, Catherine. And traffic coming out of there is crazy in the mornings. And what I'm hoping to do is get a crosswalk across Catherine Street. So I believe through to staff that would be just lines painted on the end of Catherine Street to indicate where the kids coming up the sidewalk and the kids coming from the daycare would cross over to get to the sidewalk to head into the school. Is that how it goes on a side street that's municipally owned? Right now, there's nothing. So traffic is coming out there, kids are standing waiting, and they're not even stopping for them. They're rushing down to.
Jesse?
Through Madam Warden, the team could look at it in the scenario and say what meets warrants or what wouldn't meet warrants or
Okay.
or protocols. So from a municipal stance, we don't have, as you know, we don't have a lot of official crosswalks, but we would defer to the TAC manual and what it says and under that scenario, and we would
Okay.
to see what would be appropriate in that. But I can't fully picture the location or need. So if you could follow it up with writing, staff would look at it regardless. It doesn't need a motion. We would just look.
Okay, sure. And it's in the school zone and all
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Okay, so if I don't need a motion, then if you could just look into that, that would be great. Something I've also thought about since we've been working through the cenotaph issue is the possibility of a memorial being erected to recognize the people who attended the residential school. And it just kind of has brought this to light that we are lacking in such a memorial. So I'm going to make an attempt at a motion here. I'd like to make a motion. I don't know. I guess I can hear what other councillors have to say about that, but that's just how I feel. I feel like it's high time that there was something to recognize the people who attended the residential school. So I'm going to make a motion.
I think Councillor McPhee has some information on that, if he could. Our Deputy Warden.
Yes, thank you, Warden. Yes, Sabaganekedy on their property are in the process, I believe right now, of building their memorial park to that actual item. So,
That's on the former Snides Lake land.
Okay,
yes, so
great.
they're building something for that right now, so we should just leave that.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that because from a municipal standpoint, that would definitely be appropriate. So, okay, that's everything from me. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Councillor Rhino.
I'm glad I'm recognized. Anyway, quick synopsis. July 26th, attended the Walton Shore and Walton Development Association Fun Days. Had a demonstration with the Dolphin 2 Rescue Unit, which was just amazing what they can do. It's a piece of device that comes up out of the States, and it'll fly out to, or it'll swim, it'll motor itself out, and then return people back to the shore. It's something to see. August the 12th, I presented an 80th birthday certificate to Mr. Don White of White Settlement. August the 16th, while I attended the Walton Lighthouse celebration. On August the 26th, excuse me, I attended a dime auction for Janice Singer. August 31st, I attended and presented Sharon and Roddy Dinsmore the 60th wedding anniversary. And also on that day, I attended Carrie and Monroe White's and presented them both with 85th birthday certificates. On September the 1st, I presented an 80th birthday certificate to Mrs. Judy White of Knoll Road. September the 4th, I presented another 60th anniversary certificate to Lee and Carol Henniker of Laddie's Brook. On September the 6th, I attended launch day opening ceremonies, which was great to see the Lawrence House back open again. And then in September the 6th in the evening, I presented Isabel and Ralph Brown of Burncoat a 65th wedding anniversary certificate. On September the 7th, Knoll Fire Hall Auxiliary, I attended the same as the Warden did, the 40th year, and presented a certificate on behalf of the municipality. September the 10th, I met with Cobblewood Elementary SCA with regard to an after-school program. September 13th, Burncoat Head Discover Your Own Backyard, and I've been so adamantly called a chef. I appreciate that. And September the 15th, the MLA and I went over different issues within District 5 and spent the afternoon touring and meeting people. On September 21st, I was present in Malton and presented a certificate on behalf of the municipality to Mrs. Marilyn McClellan on her occasion of her 80th birthday. So I had quite a busy month, and throw in there an operation too. So anyway, on the last thing I want to bring up everyone is quite aware of the weather conditions we're having and the drought we're having. The water haulers in the rural area are having difficulty. Their water supplies are drying up as well. So that puts the water haulers trying to haul water from a long distance away here in Enfield, which puts the price up. People have said to me, we just can't afford it. I don't know what we can do. Well, we also had these drought conditions, I think, two years ago. So I talked to staff on this, and I'm going to move a motion. The staff develop a report and present it at a future meeting of the executive committee that provides an option on what a scope and cost could be for completing a rural bulk water feasibility study in response to the droughts that we've been having in recent years.
Moved and seconded, and this is to have a report that would identify the cost.
Costs and everything associated.
Oh, you're still on. You're supposed to be still on.
It's very high time.
My system is telling me that your mic is still on, so let me close you. Cannot control.
Anyway, speak louder. It's high time that we try to look at developing a bulk water supply for the rural. See what everything around that is. But that was my motion.
Okay. No, it's giving me an error message that some priority button has been pushed and I can no longer control the mics.
I can't turn it off, you do?
No. Let me try something. No, I can't even turn. It's what it says is that cannot control microphone when chairman unit priority key was pressed, but I haven't pressed any keys.
You're back on, Keith?
Well, I think I'm said what I have to say.
Yeah.
Apologies, folks, but you've heard the motion, which is to ask staff to have a look at that. And that would be as time permits, Counselor? Do you have a timeline? Wow. All right, Counselor Musa.
Thank you, Madam Warden. So when you say, in the motion, when you said rural areas, that include Mount Uniacke or just the area like that you represent? Is it gonna be, because we have the same problem up there too, so.
I would suggest, I believe the motion just is for the rural area, and I would suggest that the scope and cost of establishing something like that is going to be extremely large. Jesse, what do you?
Through you, Madam Warden, based on the proposed motion, I'll articulate what I would proceed with if it is passed. The approach staff would take is developing a report that outlines the approach of how we would go through it, which would be at a high level seeking a water overview and ranking. So what water sources across the municipality may be viable, then what each one is suitable for providing enough volume to provide bulk water. Then on top of that, you do the logistics of, it's the supply chain time, which is the need that Councillor Reiner's articulating, where you say based on the location, what is the most optimum efficiency for trucks to get to and from in the least amount of kilometers. And that's where the struggle is we have one bulk water station on one side of the municipality, and we can map out where other ones are for access and map that out and then show where the viability of water sources could be. And then we would talk about the complexity of operating based on the optimum location. And that's kind of the scope of the study. We'd go into building a wet scope and approach in more detail than what I just did, and then the costs associated with it and the output of such study, if you wanted to go through with it, then would detail some things that I mentioned. That's how I would go about it.
That answer your question, Councillor Musa? All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Motion is passed unanimously. Anything further, Councillor Rhino?
No, I believe that the idea of the
I think that's my report from District 5.
Thank you. So that concludes business from councillors. Council, we do have an in-camera item left over from last night. We have the completion of the contractual and legal issue, and the other land issue left to discuss in the in-camera agenda. So I would be looking for a motion to go in camera. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Contrary? Okay, I would report that we met in camera to discuss a legal issue, contractual issue, and a land issue. We do have one public motion coming forward at this time, and I believe that Councillor Rhino would like to declare a conflict of interest as he did in camera. Councillor Rhino is declaring a conflict as he's a member of the board in question, or has been a member.
Adam Warden, with regard to the Sports Hall of Fame, I still believe that I am a member until I'm told not, so I will recuse myself,
Thank you.
conflict of interest.
Okay, we do have a motion coming forward. Go ahead, Councillor Dixon. Well, I guess we'll wait for Councillor Rhino to move to the
Just wait till
gallery.
he leaves. Okay, he's gone now.
Okay, Councillor Dixon.
Thank you, Madam Warden. Move that the municipality of East Hants does not support the induction of anyone who has pled guilty or has been found guilty of sexual assault into the 2025 East Hants Sports Hall of Fame.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Mitchell. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. And the motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, there were no other motions coming forward from our in-camera session. Direction was given to staff. That concludes the business on our agenda for this evening. So there being no other business coming forward, I would declare the